I'm the grandson of H.B. Reese, and I have no interest in buying another Reese's product. It's laughable. I mean, you're paying more for a product that's inferior.
Honestly, I'm willing to pay more for real chocolate. I don't want to keep putting wax in my mouth because, you know what? That's not the rush I was getting from the Reese's cup that I usually have.
We know there was a cocoa shortage, and we know there were rising prices. And
Yeah, you bring up a good point, Aaron, and I'd like to ask you, Aaron and Melissa, this. So they're blaming the cocoa bean volatility, okay? But you do realize they're not only replacing milk chocolate with compound, placing the peanut butter with peanut butter cream. So, Aaron, what have you been reading? Is there a peanut shortage?
not that I've heard.
I do know that Hershey's, it's about profit.
I believe Hershey is misdirecting you, and hopefully Hershey will pay attention. Hopefully Hershey will address it.
Welcome to We Fixed It. You're welcome. The show where we take over companies, you come along for the ride, and we try to put them back better than we found them.
There are two things that are indisputably true. One, for a very long time, Reese's have been delicious. And two, there are some very real questions being raised about what Reese's is now. Because for many people, when you bite into a Reese's, not all varieties, but some of them, the taste is different. People love their Reese's, myself included, so naturally, they've been talking about it. One of these people is our guest today, and he's not simply a fan like the rest of us. Please join me in welcoming Brad Reese to the conversation. Brad's the grandson of H.B. Reese, the inventor of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, and you may have seen Brad on LinkedIn under the name of the protector of Reese's brand integrity. What kicked us all off is that he wrote an open letter to the Hershey's company calling out that he and others were experiencing a shift in the company's ingredients that were impacting the product's quality. The story blew up. It's been in the New York Times, NBC News, The Today Show, and now Brad's here with us, Melissa and me, to talk about this himself. Thank you so much for being here, Brad, and tell everyone just a little bit more about yourself.
Well, my dad, Charles Richard Reese, was the youngest of the 16 children of H.B. Reese, who invented Reese's. And so I'm 70 years old right now. I live in West Palm Beach, Florida, which is where my grandfather, H.B. Reese, died. He died at St. Mary's Hospital. I've got cancer. I will most likely die at the VA hospital here in West Palm Beach. So I moved here to die here where my grandfather died. So that's kind of closure for me.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you for spending some time with us, Brad. We really appreciate having you here. Well, let's dig into what has the world's attention right now, right? Well, let's factually, for anyone who says Reese's isn't what it used to be, I mean, that's true. Reese's isn't one product anymore. It's dozens. So you have miniatures, big cups, thins, fast break, nutrageous. There's holiday shapes, white chocolate, dark chocolate, organic, sugar-free, plant-based variations, international varieties. Depending on how you count, there's well over 60 Reese's variations on the market at any given time. What started this firestorm is that there's been this interesting phenomenon across TikTok and all X and all the socials. People who love Reese's began posting ingredient comparisons and taste tests and packaging breakdowns, and some social media users, and there's been this undercurrent of growing dissent. I've been claiming that the certain variations have been using alternative fats instead of cocoa butter, texture shifts, less definable ingredients such as peanut butter creme instead of actual peanut butter. And the debate even drew commentary from Mr. Beast when promoting Feastables, which is his own line of chocolate bars, because of course Mr. Beast had to weigh in here too. Meanwhile, Hershey's has publicly stated that the core Reese's ingredients have not changed, that their labeling complies with regulations, and all is good in the candy factory. So don't worry about it. But here's what we're trying to fix with you, Brad. When customers of a legacy brand as beloved as Reese's sense that something's different and not for the better, how should the company be responding? Because for those of us who honestly think the experience is a little less sweet, we'd like some explanations. If something really is different, what should the company be doing in this situation? It's up to us to put together the advice and tell, this is our open forum. So first off, Brad, how did Hershey's respond?
Zero, nothing. I haven't heard a peep.
And so because they put together some statements, there was a video showing a factory tour and the ingredients are the same. Have they said anything to you?
No, yeah, so I'm referring to me. The only time Hershey will communicate with me is if they want something.
Mhm.
And usually want something means would you please take down that LinkedIn post that you just published? And they know that if anything is not accurate, if I will correct it. But so I would say, well, is there anything in my LinkedIn post that's not accurate? Oh, no, it's accurate. We just don't want you to have it published there. It'll be a big favor to us if you take it down. I go, okay, I'll take it down. I try and but there's no reciprocal. There's no, they don't give me any information. There's no knowledge that they pass my way. It's total silence. So everything I come up with on my LinkedIn posts, that's all my research, all my doing. Hershey does not participate at all. And so I've had no response, zero from them. Now, what's interesting is they're trying to change the narrative. And it was interesting how they did that. They then members of the Reese family that are local in Hershey, they tried to cause turmoil within the Reese family. And they actually published a letter from the Reese family. And I addressed that in a LinkedIn post. Okay. They didn't say which Reese family members. And what's really interesting, so they're saying that those Reese family members are fine with replacing milk chocolate with compound coating. That's what that letter is basically saying. And I understand that they're concerned about the price of the stock. And so that makes sense. But the Hershey company doing that, I mean, that's their PR people. And what's really interesting, there's only one person out of hundreds of descendants of H.B. Reese. There's only one individual, and that's my younger brother, Andrew Reese, who is the sole legal owner of the rights of publicity to the name, image, and likeness of H.B. Reese. And he's for my bringing to the attention of the ingredients, swapping out milk chocolate for compound coating. He's for that. But he's the only single Reese relative that actually has the sole legal rights to the name, image, and likeness, and rights of publicity to H.B. Reese. And so that letter didn't mention that. But anyway, so they're trying to change the narrative. One other way of narrative is they're changing it for the shapes and sizes. Well, if you go to any grocery store checkout lane or any convenience store, you see the king size Reese's, and we're talking about the king size fast break. No longer milk chocolate, compound coating. If you look at the king size Reese's sticks, the crisp you can't resist, that's been out since 1998. Milk chocolate is no longer used on Reese's sticks. It's compound coating. Probably one of the most recent big successes for Reese's was the Reese's Take 5, which was the subject of the first Super Bowl ad that the Hershey Company ever had. And that was in February 2020 when they rebranded the Hershey's Take 5 as Reese's Take 5. That product, Reese's Take 5, was covered in milk chocolate. The king size bars are no longer covered in milk chocolate compound coating. And they've done that to the Hershey products as well as, for example, Mr. Good Bar. Mr. Good Bar has always been milk chocolate and peanuts. Now it's chocolate candy and peanuts. They've done that to the Heath Bar. There's no longer milk chocolate. They've done that to Rolos, no longer milk chocolate.
So it's not just perceptual shifts. There are actual ingredient changes. Because you said that, yeah. What kicked this off for you was the miniature hearts, right?
Yes. Aaron, I mean, they're doing it so quietly that if you're not really looking closely, you're not going to catch it. I mean, everything else looks the same. The graphics, the Reese's. It's just milk chocolate is no longer there. It's chocolate candy. Or in other words, sometimes they use chocolatey or chocolate covered or made with chocolate. So there's code words that they're using. And they're doing it quietly. Hershey is not going out there and saying, hey, we're innovating. We've taken the king size fast break and we've gotten rid of milk chocolate. And at your request, we're now using compound coating. Please rush because it's not going to last if you don't get there and buy them. They're not doing it.
Yeah. One of the things that I see from a CX perspective is these quiet swaps really erode the emotional anchor of what Reese's has always been, you know, and that nostalgic milk chocolate and peanut butter, what is the comfort candy for so many millions and millions of people all over. Not this, to your point, Brad, this waxy imitation is really something that really needs to be addressed. And, what's interesting is because they've done this very subtly, they've done it through these quiet swaps, which people don't know because the branding all looks the same, the packaging looks the same. It kind of makes, I saw some interesting comments online on social media where people were like, thank you, Brad, for bringing this up because I thought I was going crazy that like I'm old and maybe my
Yeah.
taste are different. And so I was just like, this doesn't really taste like that, my favorite candy of all time, right? And so that's really something that I feel like Hershey's has been doing to all of these beloved candies, by doing this quiet swap. And it actually makes the consumer question themselves, right? Because like you used to, crave that. And now you're like, what is this really? This is so processed that it doesn't even seem the same.
Yeah, I
So,
had a similar experience. I had the not the little heart, but the big, like the 5 ounce heart, and
Hmm.
I took a bite of it, around Valentine's Day, and I just thought there's like maybe not enough and too much of everything all at the same time, and it just doesn't have like it didn't. You come to expect what Reese's tastes like, and that's why you keep going back. And it, and I don't know the ingredients. I didn't do a chemical compound test or anything, but
Yeah.
as a discerning, lover of the Reese's brand, I took a bite and said, "What is this?" And then I had a second thing that week, Reese's product, and it just wasn't what I would want or expect from the company. So then realizing it's become like Melissa, I'm not just crazy. Like, wait, maybe there's something to this. And then Brad, you said it for everybody. Like, there's a moment here.
right, right. And I think it's also a moment for competitors, right? Because, competitors
Yes.
can come in and be like, I mean, I used to complain at my office because we had this organic Reese's. It wasn't a Reese's cup, but it was organic dark chocolate almond butter cup. And I mean, same shape. They use the same shape as Reese. And I was like, this is not a Reese's cup. Like, why are we buying this? But it was real chocolate. So there you go. That's why you're buying it because now this is the taste is what matters. And it's really, it's an unfortunate thing because, for you, Brad, this is your family legacy and this brand is beloved. It's beloved and it's you're kind of positioning, it's a flagship trust symbol, Reese's is, and so to have these ingredients that, just invite scrutiny, I mean, it's slander to your family, right? Because that's not what oh my god, your grandfather would be, just horrified by this.
Yes. They've also, I have to point out also, I love the Almond Joy, I also love Mounds, and both those products no longer have milk chocolate. It's compound coating, chocolate candy, they're calling it. So these are very important candy brands that are famous that are getting the same treatment as Reese's. And it was so devastating to me that I mean, my website and my LinkedIn profile was Brad Reese growing Reese's worldwide, one peanut butter cup at a time. And I was really successful using LinkedIn to contact distributors in Poland, Germany, France, England, Australia, New Zealand. And it was fascinating for me in promoting Reese's. And when they did this, when I realized what has happened, the shift from real milk chocolate to compound coating, I can't promote my family heritage brand. I can no longer promote it because I don't believe in it anymore. I mean, it's devastating. It
Yeah.
really
Right.
is just destroyed my whole and for 2 days, I sulked and didn't realize what do I do now because I can no longer go forward the way I was promoting Reese's. And that's when I changed my website and my LinkedIn profile to Brad Reese, protecting the Reese's brand integrity. So I pivoted.
Hmm.
And that's a crucial pivot when you go from ambassador and champion to defender,
Not defender,
protector.
prosecutor, basically.
I mean, pretty much, right?
And the labels don't lie.
Yeah.
Every single national news media outlet has verified, gone out and checked the labels, so forth. So it's been verified. And as you say, all the Reese's lovers always thought there was something wrong with their taste buds. They're getting old, something, because they have, in this country, we have generations of tasting what the Reese's peanut butter cup tasted like.
Yeah.
So we have that background, that knowledge, that taste, sensory history. And so we are noticing the differences. And it's amazing because everybody thought it was just them. Now everybody else is saying, yeah, it's me too. And you're not the only one. So yeah, it's a breakthrough moment.
So why, at least the response that I saw from Hershey's was to do the PR play of saying, no, it's you, it's not us, we're the same. But why do you think that was their gut reaction? Like, just to get on top of the story? Do you think that there's something verifiable about the ingredients not being the same? I think they maybe were concentrating on one formulation or one ingredient, but not looking at the ones that are being questioned. Like, it was just a very confusing moment because everyone knew there's been changes. So they come out and say, no, nothing to see here. That seemed very just tonally off for the moment, at least to me.
Well, what do you think, Melissa? Why do you think they did what they did? Awarded it the way they did?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's like you've already brought up. It's the cocoa shock and input costs, the prices, the pricing. Um, they're trying to kind of mask it in innovation. I don't know if it's innovation, but it's taking advantage of seasonal activities. So having Reese's in the shape of hearts and different line extensions, that's really great. But it's all about profit. Brad, you've talked about it. It's all about profit at the end, and it's disregarding the family legacy. It's disregarding the consumers and what they want. And, I think sometimes consumers are okay with changes and shifts um, in certain processes and operations and can understand the cost impacts. But at the same time, this is about taste. This has always been about taste. It
Yep.
hasn't, it's not, this isn't like, I'm not talking about the operations in general. I'm talking about what is the fundamental component of Reese's. And so to me, this is really a real challenge about how you use, transparency, because the Hershey company is just saying we care most about profit, which is what every company cares about, unless
Mhm.
they're a nonprofit. And we know Hershey's is not a nonprofit. So they really care about, how are they, and you've mentioned this before, how are they, what's their share price? How are they answering to the board? All of those kinds of things around their portfolio. So from a business strategy lens, they're going from being the best, in this component, Reese's being the best, and they're okay with that because they're engineering a margin that's better for them. So really, this is going to be, it'll be interesting because in today's world, Brad, there's a lot of cancel culture. There's a lot of that going on viral. And I think there have been viral moments, and you've really raised attention to this issue. So the problem really to me is that the lack, and Aaron, you know more about this from a brand perspective, but just the real lack of transparency. And then, I mean, they're not saying to you, Brad, that they haven't done this. They're just saying, "We'd like you to stop being so adamant about your position and take down your posts." So, but they're not defending their position and saying, "Oh, but we really do have milk chocolate in there." They're not saying that at all. So,
Let me interject. This was when I was in the promotion
uh-huh,
mode, okay? And I'm talking about class action lawsuits and so forth.
uh-huh,
This was not the ingredients. They didn't tell me to take. They didn't request or ask me to take down my LinkedIn post about the ingredients. This was prior to this happening, when I would touch a nerve or something. It wasn't what I posted was inaccurate. It was accurate. They just didn't want it to be seen. And so I obliged them because I thought, why not create goodwill and so forth? But anyway, so Reese's no longer tastes like Reese's. So
Right.
they've hollowed out the most famous chocolate brand in the world, basically. And what's interesting is the opportunity. Okay, Reese's is the only Hershey's product that could use the most popular chocolate brand in any country or any region of the world as our chocolate coating. Just here in the United States, we could be using Godiva chocolate as Reese's chocolate coating, Ghirardelli, you name it, Guittard chocolate covering, and even Dove. I've even proposed to the president of Mars, Wrigley, to that Reese's should come out with a limited edition Reese's covered with Dove chocolate, and also and that's Mars, and then also Reese's filled with M&Ms. Now they all laughed and thought I was joking, but I'm serious. Can you imagine a Reese's Big Cup stuffed with M&Ms, the two most famous brands in America, sales-wise, best number one, number two. And so, but what's really interesting is now I'm hearing from Hershey employees, and they're validating everything I'm saying. What's really interesting is the equipment at the Reese plant at 925 Reese Avenue, which was the plant my father and my uncles built. My grandfather started it, but he died before it opened. Well, that plant is built for milk chocolate, and the compound coatings are gumming up the machinery.
Oh my
So
goodness.
the production lines are closing down, and when you've got a production line down, you're costing you millions of dollars. So they're stooping for the pennies. I mean, they're stooping for the pennies and passing up the dollars. So here they're using this cheap compound ingredient, okay, to save a buck, but it's causing their equipment to crash because that equipment is designed for milk chocolate.
Yep.
It's not designed for the vegetable fats and all the compound ingredients they're using. So I mean, this is true. Now, can I confirm it? No, nobody at Hershey is going to confirm that. But there's people at Hershey that have for years been working. And by the way, I'm not criticizing employees at Hershey. They're doing what they're told. But there's employees at Hershey that have been trying to keep the standard identity of Reese's products intact. And they're constantly fighting the engineers who are squeezing out every last penny of profit. And they won. So the engineers squeezing out every last penny of profit have won over the food scientists who have been trying to protect Reese's historical milk chocolate and peanut butter sensory taste.
Well, what's interesting, Brad, is it's such a if this is happening, which sounds like it probably is, it's, we'll speculate, but it's such a cannibalization because of Hershey's chocolate is the ingredient, part of the ingredient brand that goes into Reese's. Then the experience is the Hershey's chocolate too. It's a showcase for the entire line, right? If consumers can connect it and say, I not only enjoy the Reese's experience, but the Hershey's chocolate experience, why don't I go investigate other products or revisit them? But if you have the opposite reaction, it's, again, if you connect the two brands together, which is, it's a portfolio brand family, but they go together by this point in consumers' minds. Then you're gonna say Hershey's is less than they used to be from this one experience. You can change your purchasing habit pretty quick.
Yeah, and I think Hershey's going to find that out.
Yeah.
I'm the grandson of H.B. Reese, and I have no interest in buying another Reese's product.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how devastating that is?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to eat one every day. Every day I wouldn't buy one every day to keep in my freezer or fridge, but every day I would have one just to remind me, because Reese's is lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Everybody from the 4-year-old up to the 104-year-old loves Reese's. And my grandfather used to say, if you can make a product that both young and old can enjoy, your potential customers only limited by the number of people on earth.
Yeah.
So I was on a mission growing Reese's worldwide, one peanut butter cup at a time. I was on a mission to go bring Reese's worldwide because it truly is disruptive to all the other candy products out
Yeah.
there. So, Aaron, I mean, what do you think Hershey should be doing as far as PR and responding to their ingredient uh, issue?
I have an idea. Sorry to jump in there, Aaron, before you start.
Go for it.
Brad, you don't even realize maybe, but you kind of brought it up. So I love this idea of having a new HB Reese legacy brand. Okay. That is a spin-off and it's a premium brand because we're back to chocolate wax, which is not chocolate. Um, with verified original ingredients. You can mark it up because it's premium and anybody knows you say premium and you say exclusive, exclusive legacy brand. Um, and then really, I think it would be wonderful if, utilizing the right ingredients, original recipes that you guys could share, that kind of thing. Also, the partnerships that you just mentioned, Brad, like those are wonderful ideas, innovative ideas of like, hey, HB Reese legacy brand is in partnership with Ghirardelli, celebrating, I'm making this up. I used to live in San Francisco.
Yep.
I shouldn't know this, but 200 years of Ghirardelli chocolate, right?
Yes.
And you can come up with some really great, you know, trolley car on the packaging, whatever it might be. But that would be a fantastic way to preserve the legacy. And then also for Hershey to see what do people and consumers really want? Because honestly, I'm willing to pay more for real chocolate. I don't want to keep putting wax in my mouth because you know what? That's not the rush I was getting from the Reese's cup that I usually have. And I seriously, my husband is addicted to them, and so they're sitting in our in our foyer in a candy jar. But that's interesting, because it hasn't. They really haven't been the same. So, and it's been years and years that he's been doing it. So, anyway, I just feel like that's actually a possibility there, a fix, Aaron. And I don't know what you think from a brand perspective that could be.
Oh
So,
no, actually, so with the current ingredients compound coating, you have to understand, Melissa, that people will still buy the Reese's products that have the compound coating. There's no doubt people will still buy it.
Yeah.
Okay, that I'm not discounting that at all. But it's interesting you brought that up, Melissa, about HB Reese and his name, image, and likeness. We offered that. My brother is a sole legal owner, and through me, I offered that to. I contacted way over 100 Hershey executives on LinkedIn, and heard back from 4 saying that that wasn't their department or whatever. But zero, I got no reply, nothing. Okay, so I mean, I proposed that. I mean, I've proposed that the HB Reese and 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 use the old family recipes. Okay,
Mhm.
which family members have. Okay, and so that's a proposal, and you might be seeing something shortly. I did meet with Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Beast.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
So that
that would be
interview,
awesome.
Well, I love that, the HB Reese signature line. Um,
yeah,
what I wouldn't love is if you pay a premium for a premium product, which obviously it would be. I wouldn't love paying that for what a Reese's peanut butter cup used to be until recently, you know?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Um, I would do it and I'd probably train myself into it with over time, but I wouldn't love paying, for a premium product when the original, like the shelf product should be what it should be the standard. I'll pay more for premium, but let's return the standard to what it was first. That would be my pushback. Yeah.
you bring a very good point in that the current Reese products out there on the shelves right now are in the shelves where the historical Reese's products have been, and you're no longer getting the Reese taste. But guess what? The prices are rising.
Right.
They're actually raising the price for this compound coating.
Right.
I mean, so they're actually paying more for uh, genuine imitation. I mean, well, it's it's it, it's laughable. I mean, you're paying more for a product that's inferior, and you're paying a little bit more for real. I mean, actually,
Sure.
probably you'd be paying now.
Yeah, at least we'd be getting the real thing.
Yes.
Part of what they could, what I haven't seen is, we know there was a cocoa shortage and we know there were rising prices, and the part of the narrative, if there's a story to tell on their side, could be, look, we've had these supply chain escalations. Everything costs more. We all know as consumers everything costs more. Here's how we're approaching that. We're going to do the original line and it's going to cost more. We're going to do these mass market products and there's going to be some quality compromises for the moment. Bear with us. There's been a shortage, and whether or not that's true to the actual market conditions, I don't know, but it doesn't seem like there's been this dialogue of, let's pull you into this situation and what's been happening. Since you love our product so much, let's tell you what's going on here. So I think that's part of,
Well,
people are just guessing.
yeah, you bring up a good point, Aaron, and I'd like to ask you, Aaron and Melissa, this. So they're blaming the cocoa bean volatility, okay? But you do realize they're not only replacing milk chocolate with compound honey, they're replacing the peanut butter with peanut butter cream. So, Aaron, what have you been reading? Is there a peanut shortage?
Not that I've heard.
Why are they substituting milk peanut butter with peanut butter cream? So if they're using the argument that the cocoa beans are a reason why we've done away with milk chocolate, and so what's the reason with doing away with real peanut butter? Because is there a peanut shortage? Have the prices soared? I ask you both that. What's your
Not that
take?
I've heard. Mr. Peanut died a few years ago in a Super Bowl commercial, but he came back. So as far as I know, peanuts are alive and well.
No
Yeah,
shortage. So
I
why
have
is
not heard
Hershey substituting
Yeah.
real peanut butter for fake peanut butter?
That's a fair question. And if they were doing it, let's just say they were doing it behind closed doors. Let's try this out. Let's try this formulation, see if it flies. If people say nothing and we pocket a little more, good for us. But people said, wait a second, what's happening? So where's the response to that? That's where, and I'm not, I'm not part of the family. I'm just sitting on the outside as someone who, this was like my favorite treat growing up forever.
Or you didn't have your whole life destroyed like I did.
Exactly. And I still take it personally. Well, what have you've had, this is not the first, I guess, coming to heads moment with the Hershey company. There's been other things over the years.
Yes, and I'd like to say that this current cocoa bean volatility price-wise and so forth, it's down 70% from what it was. But, I mean, we're talking, Reese's is a 100-year-old brand. We've been dealing with cocoa spikes pricing forever, okay? So this is nothing new. And also, you might ask yourself, why is it so volatile? See, there's things going on that Hershey has not done. If you're operating your company strictly quarter by quarter, the cocoa situation is a decade. You got to be thinking a decade ahead.
Mhm.
And so the executives at Hershey they're kicking the can down the road. So rather than tackle it head on right now, let's get this straightened out. They're kicking it down the road. They're doing PR. So we bought 100, we built 18 schools, and we bought 1,000 iPads. Like that's, solving the cocoa of, the farmer situation. And it's interesting. Also in 2020, there's the African cocoa bean living wage. And rather than Hershey paying that, they went to the cocoa exchange and bought the cocoa beans for much, much less on the exchange. So, and that was in 2020.
Yeah.
I'm not accusing Hershey of doing anything criminal, but they have not addressed the cocoa volatility. You just need to grab it and take charge and 10-year, decade, how many, work your way through it. You can't do it quarter by, they're not doing anything.
Well, Brad, what do you think about the product diversification, that there's just one Reese's product after another? Do you think that contributed to part of the, we'll call it like a dilution, because you just can't keep the quality standard across that many individual SKUs? Or is it, is that part of the friction point?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the extent. I absolutely am it's not enough.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not enough. I came out with the Reese's credit card, orange credit card with the Reese's logo.
Yeah.
Well, I would be whipping that out and paying for everything with the Reese's to show my love of Reese's, and I know Reese's fans would, okay? But that was, again, before the ingredient issue. The line extensions, what's interesting is that, for example, General Mills, since 1994, has made Reese's Puffs cereal. Have you ever had that?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So it's a very successful cereal, over 200 million in sales every year. Now, Reese's Puffs cereal, big, huge success. Try and find it on Reese's.com. If you go to Reese's.com, it's nowhere to be found. And it has Reese's.com lists all the Reese's product manufactured by Hershey, but none of the extensions. So, and what's interesting, Hershey itself has done studies that a shopper that buys for example, Reese's Puff cereal during the shopping trip, during that same shopping trip, they will 4 times more likely buy a Reese's product manufactured by Hershey. So right there, their own study says if a consumer buys a Reese's licensed product, they will 4 times more likely buy a Reese's product manufactured by Hershey during the same during the same shopping trip. Yet Reese's Puffs or any of the extensions, we're talking Chips Ahoy Reese's, we're talking the ice creams, none of that is featured on Reese's.com, not even a peep. So what I run into, especially when I'm wearing Reese's swag, is people are not aware of all the different products. Most people are aware of Reese's Puffs, but they forget about that. But they're not aware of the ice cream, the cakes, the cookies. They're just not aware of it, and cupcakes. And so it's interesting that none of that is featured, none of these extensions. And by the way, we're over $1 billion in global retail sales of licensed Reese's products.
Wow. So there's a tightly controlled narrative around it. Yeah.
But what's interesting from Hershey's standpoint, when they're dealing with somebody that wants to license the Reese's name, the Reese's brand is so successful that it can't be a small mom and pop shop. It has to be a substantial corporation that has the means to manufacture at scale, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to need, a bigger, what do you call it in shark jaws, a bigger boat. You're going to need a bigger plant. So it's interesting that the licensed products, as long as they keep the signature Reese's taste, I'm all for that. But if the products are made by Hershey are no longer keeping the taste, then you can imagine what's going to happen to the extensions, and it's just going to become a mess.
Well, might run into a situation where some of the extensions are actually upholding some of the, the original recipes or the integrity or things like that. And then Hershey's is going to find themselves behind the 8 ball on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, operationally, you would think when you bring on the extensions and you have to, you run through a checklist or quality standards or things like you're going to hold your licensees to a certain degree, or you cut them off. So
We'll hold them to a stricter standard than you do yourself
right.
with your own products that you manufacture,
Well,
because there's no standards now. There's no
yeah,
standards at Reese's.
that's one of the fixes that I would think of. If we're going to get to that point, I'm sure we are. I would say one fix is really important is to putting some governance around the Reese's recipes and setting up like a Reese's heritage review. Great, so any ingredient changes on Reese's branded products triggers a cross-functional check, legal, CX, brand, the family, on whether the name, packaging, and marketing still match reality. And then publish, I think, Brad, you've kind of already done this in your own way, but like a short, like Reese's manifesto on the site that these are the things that will never change, what might change, and how they'll tell you when it does. It's clear and there's transparency there. It's just not a PR line, but it's a standard operating procedure and rule. And telling you the truth, I think you can do that by like standardizing the language on anything using the compound, right? Using chocolatey candy with peanut butter cream, right? Not just Reese's, not just using your name and then having the consumer assume that that's real chocolate and it's real peanut butter. And also maybe, this is the age of QR codes, Aaron, we've talked about that a little bit, but, having a comparison QR code on the back that would say, this is what was in the original recipe, this is what is in now, turning that into like an informed choice. To your point, Brad, people are still going to buy it, regardless of whether it's waxy or not. But let's be clear, that's what you're doing. And then I think, one of the things about Brad, you were asking about the peanut butter versus peanut butter cream. And I think that one of the things they've said is that the cream is a little more pliable because it's not peanut butter. So it allows for like different forms and the different shapes that people love, at different times of year. Um, but really maybe thinking about, again, going back to like the heritage or legacy or signature brand, Aaron, that you were talking about, branding it in a way that you can roll back to a couple of those fan favorite shapes with the original ingredients. And to keep the price competitive, you might have to do what companies are doing across the board. When you go to the grocery store, you buy a box of cereal, it's half full now, right? So maybe it's a little smaller, but it's got the original ingredients, right? And you can't maybe do all the little cutesy or hearts and things like that because the peanut butter is hard to shape it. But, I mean, who knows? Let the consumer have a clear choice and let them pick from that Reese's original versus the new Reese's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe Hershey is misdirecting you with it's more pliable. Okay. Uh, the peanut butter, it's all about profit. Okay. This thing about the peanut butter cream is more, oh, we can use it in more shapes and so forth. It's all bunk. That is total bunk. I'm telling you right now, it's total bunk. It's gumming up their machines, okay, in their factory, which used to work with real peanut butter. Okay. So this that is more plausible. No, it's causing them production headaches. Okay. They're doing it strictly to squeeze every pen. Again, they're stooping for the pennies and passing up the dollars because they're using all these code words that's more plausible and we can make better shapes. But it's all, they're just making more money and cheapening the ingredients. And so it's a good way to explain it, that our fans are demanding innovation. And by the way, Aaron and Melissa, I'm totally for innovation,
Yeah.
but I'm for
Right.
quality innovation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Innovation that erodes the ingredient structure of Reese's. That's not innovation. That's cost engineering.
Yeah.
Let's say call it for what it is.
Completely.
It's not innovation.
Yeah. Well, and I love I don't know if you've been following what Burger King's been doing, but they've done studies and people, if the Whoppers haven't been what they used to be, and they've been listening and they're about to relaunch the Whopper. And I'm excited about like just again on the sidelines. I'm like, good for you. Like,
I love Whoppers. I
let's
love Jute Whoppers. I love them. Yes.
yeah. And it feels very like we're with you on this.
Uh-huh.
As opposed to this moment with Reese's where, we haven't had that open dialogue moment of, look, you're right. You called it out. Your taste buds called it out. Um, let's get real. And number one, let's call it for what it is. Yes, cocoa prices, shortages, changing consumer trends, overextending product, whatever it was, like, there's a perceivable shift in quality. Here's what we're doing about it, and it's a moment where they could say, like Burger King, you're going to come with us. You're going to taste test 3 variations. You're going to taste you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it could be a little bit of Pandora's box because the consumer starts saying, well, I don't like that one, or that doesn't
Yes.
taste right either. You know, and then what do you do about that? But
Yeah.
uh,
So there's quality. Back in the 60s, we came out with Reese's Scotchies. And Reese's Scotchies was, rather than using milk chocolate as the coating, we used a butterscotch coating.
mm,
And
Mm.
so it was delicious.
sounds
It
great.
was, it had the Scottish colors on the wrapper, Reese's Scotchies. It was delicious. So, it's like, Melissa and Aaron, if you guys were out on a sailboat, you ventured off course.
Yeah.
Okay, the wind was
Mhm.
blowing and it took you off course. So now you need to turn around the sailboat. You need to start tacking and doing your maneuvers to get back on course. Well, Hershey has the opportunity to say, okay, we got off course. We ventured into uncharted territory we didn't really know. We made a mistake, and now we're tacking the ship back to get back to the course that we were on, and admit that now we're taking corrective action. So that would be excellent. I mean, Melissa, do you think that would help?
I do. I think that I think whenever someone is off course, it's important to map out what where you need to go. I think that like it's been such a really interesting conversation that we've had today. I mean, Brad, you've been able to bring such a like strong perspective of what's going on, and I think that we've talked many times, Aaron, about profit and what it means and how it kind of blindsides companies. And I don't even say blindsides companies. That makes it sound like you're not prepared for it. It blinds companies. They can't see anything else. And so I really love the fact that, you've been able to kind of bring that to the table for us, Brad, and really kind of talk about like where Reese's has really come from and how, your protection of the legacy and also your understanding. I mean, I feel like it's not like you don't understand that things need to change and things need to grow, but there's ways to do it that can protect that legacy. And I think that's the thing that's so frustrating is that it feels like the Hershey's company in general has just been trying to pull a fast one on everybody, and that doesn't feel great. And so that's one of the things that, I think they have they have hundreds of people who work in marketing and communications and
Yes.
brand loyalty and customer experience,
Yeah.
Thousands.
right? And so,
Mm.
like, those folks, like, instead of hiding under the blanket, like, what are they doing about this? And I think you're opening up this whole dialogue, you're opening up, questions. People are finally like I said to you, I'm like, "Oh, so I'm not crazy that the taste is different," And I just really like again, thank you for that perspective, but I also think from an operational perspective from where I'm sitting, I look at this as not very different than a lot of companies who have kind of gone through this. And to Aaron's point, you're seeing a shift with certain brands who are saying, "Oh my gosh, this is what we have to do to kind of regain that customer loyalty." And when customers when companies go against the grain so violently, so like crazy. I mean, it's
Outrageous. Yeah.
it's about taste. It's like it just feels really, like that can't be a good business decision, but obviously they've looked at the data, they've decided. I mean, we've talked about a lot of different companies on this podcast and they've all done things that have really fundamentally driven them away from what their core mission and value set has always been. And yet they somehow survive, and to your point, Brad, people will still buy it, and that's what's kind of, kind of a frustrating juxtaposition of the entirety.
Yeah, and rightfully so that Hershey believes that their products are still going to sell. I mean, that's what they've got all the data and so forth, and they're a very smart organization, and so that's what's so uh, remarkable about this decision is I mean, they're like you said, they have thousands of people. Their food scientists are par none. I mean, they're really so there are people in Hershey fighting to keep the standards of chocolate. Okay, that using real milk chocolate and using real peanut butter. There are employees that are there, but they're being overwhelmed, and they're not winning against the cost engineers who
Mhm.
do nothing but refine and refine and refine and squeeze every and of course those go to the CEO and that's going to push up their earnings per share and he gets paid tens of millions of dollars by hitting those EPS. It's the short-term incentive for this to the leadership of the Hershey company that's led to these decisions.
Yeah.
This is not long term, and you could make so much money just keeping the taste. Historical taste of Reese's. It's so much money to be made. It's mind boggling, and if they just would concentrate on the quality and bringing back the taste, historical taste, sensory taste of Hershey, of Reese's, they would make so much money. Again, they're stooping for pennies and passing up the dollars, and you guys nailed it. They have lots of opportunity to turn the ship around.
Yeah.
It's an aircraft carrier, so it's not going to turn on a dime.
Yeah.
But to start, and one of those is becoming transparent and admitting that the customers didn't demand innovation of removing milk chocolate and putting compound coating is an innovation that was demanded by the consumer. That's, I mean, you believe that? I mean, Hershey's basically applying that.
No, because everyone's telling them the opposite. They're saying we don't like this, and the voices are just going to keep getting louder and louder. And the company can keep profit squeezing and doing what they want. But if you get to the point where you cut into a Reese's and there's one peanut sitting there, or a puff of air comes out, like, no one's gonna like that. So
is that the almond joy?
Yeah.
Instead of the almond joy, an almond, you'll have a peanut butter cup with a single peanut.
One peanut.
The rest is cream, the peanut butter cream.
Oh,
Brat special.
yeah.
That's what.
All right, we're fixing this. So here's what we're gonna do. First of all, listen to Brad. I mean, thank you, Brad, for telling us how we're not crazy and being a champion for everyone who loves this brand and saying, just bring it back. Like, it's not that hard. There's ingredients we all like. Put them back where they came from, and we'll all just say thanks. There's a moment of the company to have that really just heartfelt moment to say, maybe we lost our way. Maybe we agree with you. We love this product too, as we love it as much as you do. We're bringing it back. Why can't we all? They could do that pretty quickly operationally. So let's do that.
Yeah.
And then make that the new baseline standard. Maybe it costs a little more because everything costs more, but what are you going to do? I love the HB Reese, the signature line or the original line as a premium or an experimentation type of product, or unlocks the Reese's brand up to unexpected brand partnerships and non-Hershey's ingredients. And I think that's genius. I would love to see that come to market. So I'm all on board on that. And even if it's not the answers we want to hear tomorrow, but there's admission of mistakes, or there's admission of, look, here's the market factors that we want to let you in on, or here's our 18-month roadmap toward, quality preservation, whatever. Like, just have those conversations, but having all of it behind non-transparently, where we don't know what's even happening, and getting brought into this discussion behind a carefully guarded response that's not even addressing, Brad, what you've brought to the table. That's not going to cut it. We're not happy.
Well, their narrative is this Reese family turmoil.
Yeah.
Some Reese family members support what we do, and so Brad Reese is just his opinion,
Sure.
and he's not supported by those. Well, it's not my opinion. It's labels. It's verifiable labels. It's not opinion,
Right.
but it's they're trying to make it. They're trying to switch the narrative that this is a family dispute, and yes, there is a family dispute.
Yeah.
But that's not the subject. It's not the issue. It has nothing to do with what they've done to the ingredients.
Right.
Okay. There's gonna be Reese family members that agree with the Hershey company and say, yeah, squeeze every last penny out of the product. Okay. And they're Reese family members. And I still love them, but they're my family. But and there's others like me who believe that, the taste is the key.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying. I mean, they're saying they're speaking. My grandfather would be HB Reese would be very happy no longer having milk chocolate and real peanut butter in there. And that's their belief. And I'm like, great. But I think that also what Aaron and Melissa, you guys have kind of touched on, is what is the competition going to do? This Hershey, I think, has opened up a huge. I mean, they might have had a dam with a few cracks.
Yeah.
You know, companies. One example: the vice president of Hershey, who ran all 20 of the global plants at Hershey, has bolted to Justin's peanut butter cups. What does that tell you? He
That's a
starts
moment.
in a week or two
Right.
at Justin's, which is owned by Hormel in Austin, Minnesota.
Yeah.
But still, Justin is an up-and-coming competitor, and the guy who ran all the plants for the Hershey Company, all 20 plants, is now their vice president of supply chain
Yeah.
at Justin's peanut butter cups.
Yeah, you
What
just
does
don't
that tell
know, right? The Poppy, the soda brand, they just had a Super Bowl commercial because they
you?
kept at it and they kept investing, and they have a seat at the table where maybe they didn't have to. If the soda companies innovated and didn't open themselves up to a market opportunity.
I think Feastables peanut butter cups. I met with Mr. Beast on Sunday in person and up in North Carolina, and I think what they're doing with the opening they've been given with their Feastables peanut butter cups, which by the way are very good. I mean, it's a worthy competitor, definitely very good. But they're going to make hay. They are going to take big, uh, 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 take this opening and because it's a once in a lifetime opening for other peanut butter cup
Right.
competitors to address the Reese's ingredient issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hershey's opened up their competition to they're on the firing line, or what do you call it? They're
Right.
everybody's going to be going after them.
Yeah.
You know, and Aldi's with their peanut butter cups, and Trader Joe's, and
Mhm.
Right. Well, that's what I heard this past week when I've been talking with people about this, this situation. They've been saying, well, have you tried this other one? It's actually pretty good. So,
yeah,
along with the undercurrent of dissent, there's this undercurrent of new loyalty.
yeah,
So,
it's betrayal.
yeah,
Reese's has betrayed its loyal fans, and when you betray I'm betrayed. Everybody's betrayed. So you're going to look for replacement.
yeah,
And so again, Hershey's done it to themselves.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling. And
yeah,
with close to thousands of executives who do nothing but marketing and panels, tastes, and and AI and all the stuff they use. How could they have done this?
yeah.
It's like, what broke there? Is that pursuit of the dollar overtaking common sense? It looks like it.
Hmm. Well, Melissa, I'll ask you first. If they get very open and transparent about the narrative, admit wherever mistakes were made that they were made, wherever swap outs were made that consumers pointed out and said, we don't like this about you. We used to like this about you. The fix is simple, bring it back. If they bring it back and they do it in a way that, like, similar to Burger King's doing, where they say, we hear you, we're going to absorb some costs on it. We want to make this right. We're going to do it as quick as possible in a responsible way. And let's return the original line to the standard you used to you've come to expect from us for years, decades. And then we do like a signature line, and we watch for the extensions and make sure they're all representative and they all carry out the quality, and each one, like, I agree, Brad, there can never be enough. If they're good, bring it on. If we follow those, that kind of process, or do we fix this? Do we make it better?
I think we've provided some fixes. I think even going further is the idea I had based on some of the conversations that we've had today, but like putting governance around the recipes, setting up like a Reese's Heritage Committee. I don't even know what we want to call that, but a review. So any ingredient changes can be very clearly communicated if that's going to be what's happened and agreed upon.
Yeah.
Uh, I love the idea of the signature or the original line, because I do know that Hershey's, it's about profit. I get it. And there are a lot of people who might not care, right? customers that don't care. But I do think that they have that ability because there's so many people that have the nostalgia for the original. You see a lot of different brands going back to that, like, oh, this is the original, Levi's, this is the original, all the kind of original types of things. And I really feel like Reese's has that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I do also think that there is a need to keep your eye on the competitors to see how they're kind of flooding the market, because I think, to Brad's point, like, you have to look to the future and know that now you've opened the floodgates, and so you really have to kind of make a stance. You really have to make a stance. And I do love the idea of, like, going back to the original, but also being innovative about that and finding really great partners who stand with what Reese's really is all about and the heritage of Reese's. So I hope that Hershey's and some of those 400 executives, Brad, that you were speaking of, thousands of executives,
Yeah.
listen to
Yeah,
our podcast
thousands.
and listen to what we have to say, because I don't think it's just us raising the flag. It's about, how do you make it work? And as a lover of Reese's for a very long, all my life, I hope that they will listen.
Yeah. Same, Brad. If, I know there's a lot of history here, but if tomorrow, if Hershey said, Brad, you're right, we hear you, we're doing everything you're asking us to do starting now, does that help? Does it diffuse the situation? Are we on a
Oh,
better track?
yeah. Then I can go from protecting Reese's brand integrity to growing Reese's worldwide, one peanut butter cup at a time. So
Yeah.
I pivot immediately.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I would be right there. But
Yeah.
as it is right now, I can't go along with the swapping out the ingredients that they've done.
Yeah.
And you guys have pointed out that the opportunity is still there. And I'm really not have any expectations that they will address it. I really don't expect them to,
Yeah.
uh, unfortunately. But as was Glenn Beck, who had me on the radio, on his radio, he said Reese's represents the United States. It's a heritage brand, and if Reese's is no longer Reese's, what else is no longer in our country? It's becoming almost a patriotic thing. Like it's Americana. I mean, if Reese's can no longer be Reese's, then what else in our society is no longer sacred?
Oof.
I mean, the taste of Reese's is actually sacred to Reese's fans,
It
and
is.
it is to me.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Well, maybe we can do some good here. We're putting it out
Yeah,
there in the world that, Hershey's would do a lot better with you as the, global ambassador and spreader of goodwill and opening these doors than as a detractor that's just saying what we're all thinking. So we'll push things in the right direction.
I mean,
Um,
I could switch horses real quickly.
oh, that's
I
true
mean, I
too.
could switch horses real quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm not bound by, uh, uh, but it really is disappointing, so disappointing. And I just, I thank you very much, Melissa and Aaron, for your encouragement and support.
Yeah.
It's so important to me that you guys are doing this, because unless the Reese's fans speak up, uh,
Right.
the Hershey company uh, is, I think they're listening. I mean, they have to now, don't they? I mean, I would assume so. And so, if you just read just read the comments to my LinkedIn posts,
Yeah.
it is stunning.
It
It
is.
is stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of upset people are.
Yeah.
The comments are just. It's the frustration is so unbelievable,
Yeah.
and they all thought it was just them. Is my taste buds changing, and my wife used to love them. She no longer has them, no longer eats them, and we couldn't figure out why. And some people actually saying they get sick now when they eat Reese's for whatever reason. Okay.
Mm.
So, I mean, who knows? But, the point I'm trying to say is that the comments, there's nobody saying, yes, I'm so relieved they got rid of milk chocolate.
Right.
And they're using,
Right. Yeah. This
oh,
is.
Cody, no one's saying that.
There's
No
no
one.
no controversial counterpoint. They taste better now, actually,
Yeah,
guys. Yeah, what are you
there's
talking
nobody
about?
on the other side saying, hey,
No,
your ingredients
not
right
that I've
on.
seen. Yeah. Well, this is an evolving story, of course. Before we go, I'd like to give a ton of appreciation to Brad Reese for joining us during this very busy time. We're going to keep watching this story unfold. Before you go, Brad, give everyone your website and your LinkedIn. How can we track along with you?
Well, just go to Google, type in Brad Reese.
Yeah.
I'm not the rancher. I'm not the guy that was on Survivor.
Okay.
But yeah, bradreese.com.
Yeah.
But if you just go to Google or any search engine, type in Brad Reese. I'm not the rancher on the Survivor. I'm the other Brad Reese in Florida at the beach.
You're the guy wearing the Reese's swag.
Yeah. I'm the one wearing the Hawaiian Reese's shirt. But yeah, so I really truly appreciate everything that you guys are doing to bring attention to the ingredient shift, and hopefully Hershey will pay attention. Hopefully Hershey will address it. Where if I'm not satisfied, hopefully most of the Reese's fans will be satisfied.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 70. I'm on my way out. So it's the future generations that need to be good with this. And so hopefully Hershey will make it appealing for Reese's fans going forward, the younger generations, to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, though, is Hershey is really pushing what they call better for you. And better for you is like with their Skinny Pop popcorn and Dots pretzels and Lesser Evil. But it's interesting that they're saying they're building a better for you portfolio, yet the flagship brand Reese's, they're doing worse for you. So they're making the better for you in the snacking, but in Reese's, it's worse for you by degrading the ingredients. I mean, your brain just goes. It's a big sense.
Well, we're here for their side of the story too. If they want to come on with us, we'll mediate. We'll create some good in real time too. So like I said, this is going to be out there. They can respond and listen and do what they're going to do next. And between all of us, Brad, you've got the most influence. So
the ball's in their court.
Yeah.
I mean, why not play? I mean, they're Hershey, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an American institution.
Yeah.
You're the Hershey, PA.
Come on, Hershey.
It's ball's in your court. Take it, run with it, and deal with it. Yeah. So I wouldn't be shy if I were them. I would definitely be on your show. Don't be shy.
No,
Hershey.
come on, Hershey. Well, thank you, Brad. Thanks, Melissa. All of you listeners can catch our past episodes at wefixeditpod.com. That's wefixeditpod.com. We'll have a new one for you next week, maybe with Hershey. We'll see. Until then, stay original, and we will see you next time. We hope you enjoyed this episode of We Fixed It, You're Welcome. We go into every episode somewhat cold, and nothing we say should be construed as legal advice, financial advice, or anything that would get us in trouble. All trademarks, IP, and brand elements remain property of their respective owners.